Hello and welcome to this episode of the Worship Band Builder Podcast, where we are working with you to lay the foundation of skillful worship. I'm Eric Roberts, and this is my lovely co-host and comedian, Emily Roberts.
Hola.
I always call her comedian now. Maybe it will come true. She did do a comedy routine at church, and it was pretty hilarious.
It was okay, but not bad for a first try.
Yeah, so maybe we can get some jokes on future episodes.
We'll have a little stand-up show.
Yeah. Today we're talking about, oh, how I miss real life church. And it is painful. It's actually very interesting. But first, listen, guys, I know you're out there watching Netflix. I know you're out there doing nothing, sitting around in your pajamas all day, walking around your neighborhood. Get on worshipbandbuilder.com, worship the King, click on shop, go to digital passes. And yes, we have the church passes for your whole church. But if you're just sitting at home going, man, I always wanted to play guitar, you can check them out at worshipbandbuilder.com and just click on the shop. And you can get to an individual digital pass for guitar, bass, drums, voice, piano, electric guitar. We've broken them all down for you.
You can use your time constructively and feel good about it.
Don't be a loser is really the key.
Don't
be a loser slacker.
Just slacker, maybe. I think we can all confess to being slacker-ish here recently.
It's getting pretty slackerish around here. It is. I miss real church. And really, sometimes I have to admit, because we're going to talk about this openly, I get tired of going to church. So I'm like, Sunday's coming, and I'm like...
We're going to be that honest.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to be honest. Okay. I go to... Because you know me. Some days I'm like, well, it's okay, tomorrow's Sunday, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, I'm just going to stay home tomorrow and mow the grass. Like, just be a complete heathen.
Yeah, but that you usually don't.
I don't usually, because my wife says, like, but I want you to sit next to me.
And I say it like that, too.
And I feel bad about it, so I don't. But there are those moments, at least in the last several years, where I've been like, you know what, I'm just going to not go today. Because it just feels, I don't know why I have that feeling. Like, I'm just going to be irresponsible and just do nothing.
Well, this is kind of a recent thing. I don't think, you know, in the years that we have been married, you've always been a very faithful church attender.
Yeah.
I mean, and there have been times when that wasn't even there was no question about whether or not you would be at church because it was your job to be at church.
Even then, some days I was like, oh no, I gotta go do this.
So now, as a volunteer, it becomes more of a... You can always volunteer at church as much as you want. They will take as much of your time as you will give. They need volunteers, but you have to be able to balance how much time can I give without burning myself out to the point where I don't want to help anymore at all.
Yeah, so sometimes I just want to stay home. But right now, dude, I just want to go to church. I'm serious. Like, I'm just like, this is so lame.
I get an amen?
I just want to get back to church, people. No, like, Zoom church is cool. We're going to talk about the different things. And first of all, I guess we'll just go right into it. What do you miss about church during the COVID lockdown? What do you miss?
I just miss seeing people in person.
Yeah, it's weird. Because like I said, sometimes I'm like, I've just seen too many people. I'm going to stay home today. And I took it for granted. I think this has really opened my eyes to be like, wow, like it's only been 6 weeks, maybe?
I don't
4
know.
weeks?
Well, it started in March.
It's not been very long. So, and I'm already like, oh man, I want to go back to church. So I think I was taking that for granted. Maybe this is a good thing for me to realize that.
I think in general, overall, the freedoms that we have, I have come to appreciate those much more, having some of them sort of modified. I won't say taken away, but
you could.
You know, I mean, life is different right now, and I don't think most of us appreciated all the freedoms that we had. And hopefully still have.
Yeah, because right now it's all of this unknown and secrecy and all of these crazy conversations about 2 years or 18 months until we can get back to normal, which I call complete what do I call it? Ludicrous, lunacy.
Lunacy, maybe that word fits there.
It's complete lunacy. So as we get back to it, we'll get back to it. But I think I've missed. I think I missed worship, which is weird.
Well, it's hard to worship with
The TV, it's hard.
Stand in your kitchen and sing your worship songs, and I don't know.
It's hard. It's
the
different.
atmosphere is different.
Yeah, because we started live streaming our worship 2 weeks ago. Well, we've been live streaming. What I mean to say is, let me explain it. We started pre-recording our full band, and I'm doing the sound. So on Thursdays, I get to go to church and see all my friends, all my band friends.
Jealous.
And then I get to sit there while they're doing worship and mix it, and it's so awesome. Like I'm like, oh, this is like live music, which I took that for granted. I'm sure too. It just becomes a job, and you're like, I got to go mix, or I got to go play. And now I'm like, I was mixing for 2 weeks now, and it's awesome. I'm like, dude, I could do this for hours. I could sit here and hang out and mix, and you get to see, small group. I believe we're still under 10, so nobody come after us. It's a small group. It's not like we're breaking any laws or anything, but it's still like a small band and a little acoustic thing, but we're doing it. So I realized the other day, man, I miss that live, organic, because we've been watching that goofy Zoom thing I'm gonna call it goofy, but it's goofy when you watch Zoom all day, every day for work, and then you go to church. I'm getting tired of Zoom is basically. I'm not tired of my church's Zoom. I'm just tired of Zoom.
Zoom in general.
Like it's just, I call it goofy, not to them, to the church, but just that, like, everybody's on Zoom all the time now, and it's exhausting me. It's weird.
Well, we kind of do our zooming.
Zoom it out.
Back to back on Sunday. We have a little live thing for the kids that our son watches for about 20 minutes. And then we have our service. And then we have 2 different community groups that are meeting on Zoom after that. And so it gets to be a long stint in front of the screen.
I think we start at 9:40 and we've been on there till after 1:00 on Sunday on Zoom. And that wears me out. But because it's all of the mental stuff, but none of that real life physical, like you're not looking at people and they're not looking, I mean, they're kind of looking at them, but there's all these personal cues and all these things in real life that you don't get through Zoom. And then
it's funny when we have our kind of our Bible study community group on Zoom, because a lot of people they're disconnected. They're listening.
Yeah.
And they are adding things here and there, but a lot of the time they're just looking down in their laps, or they're getting up and going to get a cup of coffee or whatever, and they just sort of disappear.
Yeah.
And so
and I'm like surfing
it's
Amazon.
Not the same. It's not the same as when you're sitting in a group looking at each other and you can hear each other's pages turning, and
it's just exhausting. That's what I've noticed about the church. My experience. What has your experience been like with the streaming thing? I've enjoyed it, but after all week of Zoom meetings and then all Sunday of Zoom meetings, it's not that the Zoom is so bad. It's just that the personal connection is gone.
Well, really, I'm thankful that we have it, because without that right now,
it would be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So it's good. It's just starting to become exhausting. Would you consider doing that all the time now? Because here's just a side note. I've heard people, pastors and other people, like, I hope people come back to church, because now that they've created this is how it can be done. In the first Sunday was funny.
We've opened up a new possibility here.
Yeah, it was funny. The first week, people were like, "Oh, I'm getting my bacon and eggs," and it was like hilarious, and it was kind of fun, and it was novel. Like, oh, this is funny.
Novel
and cool.
is a perfect word for that.
But then after now, I'm like, okay, let's just go back to real church. So, but we're going to continue live streaming because we're going to have to.
The positive side of this is that you can sit and eat your breakfast in your jammies if you want to.
You can turn off the camera. Ha.
You don't have to get any place on time, so it takes away that stress.
Yeah,
that's always the worst part of Sunday morning to me, is that hurry up, we got to get there thing, which I know you can blame that on
Women. Yes, let's blame it on women.
stop.
That's fine. I'm
know,
okay
like
with that.
if it's lack of planning, whatever. It's not like
It's not men doing makeup.
they changed the time of church any given Sunday morning. You are running just as late as I am on any Sunday because you think you can just goof around until everybody else is ready, and then
Then I'm like,
well,
yeah, wait, I gotta
I'm not
make coffee.
exactly ready yet.
Yeah,
I
you're
still
right.
want to make my coffee and
Yeah, I wait till she's in the car and then I say, wait, I gotta make my coffee. I do that, or I gotta get another shot of espresso. But my dad, growing up, I never understood this, but now I do. He would, like, every time we would go somewhere, he would be the first one ready. And he would literally just sit in the family room in a chair for like an hour. And he would just be ready, sitting there for like an hour.
your dad was smart.
And he was just waiting.
Still is smart.
Yeah. And he was just waiting for like an hour at least, I'm sure, with my mom and stuff doing her makeup. And I don't think he would be helping much, but he'd be sitting there at least.
No,
it's
there's
not like
no
he was
helping.
getting the car seats ready and everything. I mean, he was just sitting there. But that was my dad. But I can get that. Guys, we have that burden. We will sit and wait. Around, or we could just do a makeup. We could jump into the makeup thing, because I do makeup sometimes on my face.
Now that may be a conversation for another day.
I do makeup on video shoot days that are really important. So what would our society be like if we had no weekly worship gathering?
Sad.
It'd be sad.
Just sad. Well, that's like, there are countries where that is true, and I don't even want to think about that right now.
Yeah, I think the worship gathering is going to be different when we go back. And that's maybe what we'll talk about in a few minutes, how it will be. But if we didn't have a weekly worship gathering, I think it would be just the live music experience that I was talking about. That would be weird to not have. And that makes me think how important these worship leaders are, and how important, even if you're just kind of trying to make it through, even if your band is struggling, even if you're just a guitar player, no matter how good you are, because we do these worship band building things, trying to help everybody get better. But the organicness, the realness, the communityness of just grabbing a guitar and singing. Some of the best times are just, I got a guitar, you're out at the campfire and you're singing with your friends.
Yeah.
So even if that's all you're doing, at least you're doing it. And I think our society would be a disaster without weekly gatherings. And really, we should be praying right now that all of this goes away quickly, because many churches are going to struggle to open back up. Churches are going to struggle financially. They are struggling financially. People in general that I've talked to are like, we hope our people come back. Like, we hope they come back. We hope they don't just wander off into, depression, or just decide, well, we didn't feel like we missed it too much, so we're not going to go back on Sunday. So,
boy.
So that's some of the worries they have. But it is okay to go back to church now when your church opens, when you're ready. We talked about that in last week. But I want to talk
What about these churches that aren't going to be able to open up after this?
Well, I think, I don't know, because some businesses, I read an article yesterday, it said 20% of small businesses won't reopen. 20% will just be like, we don't have the finances. We've closed our shop because we just ran out of, we were on a tight margin, and now there's no way we can rebound, or some businesses might have lost a large customer base. So I don't know. Some churches might have lost.
I wonder if some of the smaller churches that were just barely hanging on before this, if they might become house churches, maybe, Yeah,
well, I think they've definitely made adjustments. We're America. I mean, we started with nothing.
Well, yes.
Most of these small churches started with nothing. They can start again. And so that's
true. Maybe they will just get creative and find new places to meet. And that's kind of where I was going with that.
They will, how we think it will change after COVID, I think hopefully the church will explode with people going, wow, that was lonely. I need some friends. geez, I need to get out of my house. Where should I go? And hopefully people that won't just quit going to church. I think the biggest change that I've seen is the church has stepped up their technology game like major. I mean, they've shifted, they've been thrown off their game in a major way suddenly, and then realized, oh, like we need to stream. So
they talk about that in learning, actually, in education. There is this kind of principle of allowing students to get outside of their comfort zone a little bit, work their way up to that, learn until they get comfortable in that space, and then get thrown out of that again a little bit. It's just kind of a principle of learning that we're seeing applied right here to the church.
They're definitely thrown out of their comfort zone, and they had to buy equipment. It was funny because we did that episode on how to stream, and then people were texting and emailing us going, well, we tried to buy the line level thing, or we tried to buy the mount that you have, or the light, and everything was out of stock, everything. And some of the more expensive gear that some of the bigger churches were rushing to get was all out of stock. So like that week where they realized we've got to go live, everybody realized it, and all of the major retailers like Sweetwater, Musician's Friend, Guitar Center were out of like the mounts, the specialty cables that they probably sell like 5 a month of, and now they were trying to buy like 50 of them a day.
Well, but thanks to our cell phones, that wouldn't even have to exclude you from continuing to have an online service.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't look as good maybe, but you could still meet, and that would really be the key.
Yeah, and if you missed that, we did have a really good episode. It did really well. It was how to live stream. I think it was 4.1. We showed you our little setup. I mean, this is obviously a different setup that we have with the podcasting, but we showed you a live setup for playing guitar, really simple. And I know churches were sending me some of their videos. I didn't show you that, but some people were showing me like, hey, I got this mic and how do I fix this or whatever. But I think it helped a lot of people, which is really good. And if you missed it and you're going to move forward and you're thinking, we got to do live streaming, check it out. It's episode 4.1.
Well, that's cool, because that's always the hope when we do this, isn't it? Is that somebody will be encouraged or helped in some way.
Yeah, hopefully they don't look at it and get totally confused and shut it off and just say,
oh.
I
don't think that's a worry.
No, that's not too bad. I mean, technology is, I've been working for the last hour or two or this all morning just trying to get this one thing working on my computer. And I'm a pretty high level tech guy, and I can't get the audio to sync with the thing. And so, I mean, I feel for these people who just go, well, what microphone and what plug? And, I've spent a lot of years buying the stupid wrong plug and, trying to record something and it not work.
Learning through trial and error.
Yeah. And, for churches that have to do it by Sunday, I'm usually just doing it for my YouTube channel. So I can imagine the pressure. I was feeling the pressure mixing. Like if I mix this wrong and then this is my one chance to Sunday.
Because you were doing it live.
We're doing it live and we didn't have any, wasn't going to be remixed. So a lot of pressure, but everybody just chill out. What church is going to be like after COVID, hopefully is it's going to grow. Hopefully people are going to get over this, and hopefully the quicker we go back to normal, the more likely that we're like to debunk.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Everybody just chill out. What are you lost?
Yeah, everybody
me there.
just chill out. Think like when you're doing your live stream, just chill out. Just take it easy. Don't think that it's.
Oh, okay. Okay,
yeah.
so
just chill.
Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Right.
This doesn't have to be an overwhelming experience if you keep it simple.
It's probably going to feel overwhelming, but if you just chill out, take it week by week.
Okay, I didn't know where you were going.
Well, I lost you. I probably lost them too.
Yeah, it's possible.
You guys were lost. Well, that's it. We're about on our time limit today. So make sure if you want to train your band, if you want to do anything like that, or if you want to learn an instrument, go to worshipbandbuilder.com, and you can always ask for a individual booking consultation with me or with Emily even.
Hey, I'm around.
She's available. Make her do it while I'm editing. All right, so God bless you guys. Let's get back to church. I miss real church. I want to get back to church. Let's go back to church as soon as possible. And, those of you who are worried and stuff, stay home on Zoom, but I am done with that. I'm ready to go back to real church. We'll see you there.